I am the Realtor, Eric Corder. Occasionally, I'm asked, on showings, do you ever see anything unusual or strange? Or is there anything odd that happens to you? Well, as a realtor, no, not really. Aside from the stray pet or the over-friendly cat, no, not much action. However, in a former life, my wife and I owned a home inspection business. And as a home inspector, you leave no room unchecked, no space uninspected. This story takes us to Raymond, Washington. And just to add a little bit of spice to the story, know that Raymond is not too far from a town called Forks, for all you Twilight fans out there. It's a cold, overcast, rainy afternoon, standard fare for the state of Washington, and it's time to inspect a fairly unassuming small house. As I pull up, I notice that the house is maybe a story and a half. So as I'm walking through the house, I'm looking for the stairs to the upper level. I don't see any, so I just assume it's an attic space, with a window that you can see from the street. Not completely uncommon. This is where the story takes a slight turn. In the home's garage, accessible from the rear of the home, and below the home, I noticed there had been a fire. And fire in a home always goes up. But I saw no signs of a fire on the main floor. So I made some notes, took some pictures. As I headed back upstairs, I noticed a timber frame ladder attached to the house that led to a small attic access port, and this ladder had been burned in the fire. I had to inspect the attic, and this was the only access, so up I went. As I'm peering around the attic through the hatch, I noticed the entire attic is charred. This isn't completely unusual, but what caught my attention is about 10 feet away, I could see what appeared to be a room, completely walled in, but with no access, other than a small, hand-cut, body-sized access that was about 20 feet away from me. I had to know what was in there. Literally, I had to know. It was my job. So I started crawling on my hands and knees across the charred floor joists. I got to the access hole and climbed through. And this is where the story takes an unusual and slightly uncomfortable turn. I climbed into the space, and it was an entire room. There had been somebody up there, and the only access was that hand-cut hole after crawling across all of those floor joists to get to that space. The fire had touched only a portion of this room, and as I looked around, something took my breath away. There were small, tiny handprints on the walls in blood red. At this point, the inspection was officially over, and it was time to get out of there. Who had been in that space? Were those handprints actually blood, or was it paint? Were they there during the fire? Nobody knows. Actually, I bet somebody knows, and we didn't stick around to find out. We could not get out of there fast enough.
This has been Creepy House Tales with the Realtor, Eric Corder. Happy Halloween, everyone.